How are you? It's a kooky kind of day today. It's just sometimes the planetary influence, y'all, what could you do? Is just what happens. So, on this last lesson, yay, science, we're still talking about the cost benefits for developing, managing, and using different types of energy. And today we're going to talk about wind energy. Two things, let's see, two definitions I have here is convection, and that's the transfer of heat by motion in the atmosphere from lower to higher. Cold air sinks, warm air floats. And then a turbine is a machine that uses energy, in which kinetic energy, energy from motion, is converted to mechanical power. And that's what fuels windmills. So wind contains kinetic energy because it can move. And so that energy can move an engine, a turbine, and it creates electricity. Solar power is clean, or wind power is clean. It doesn't release any pollutants or any kind of gases in the air. Um, but some people complain about the spread of windmills across certain locations. But still, the use of wind energy is increasing. And there's an actual story about a man who he lives outside Rochester, and they just started planting windmills right in his land. There is something called eminent domain, where the government can actually take your land and give you what they think it's worth. So sometimes not it's not all good things that happen from these changes. So I just wanted to let you know a little bit about that. So going to show you a picture, and this is of a windmill. That's a set of windmills that are right outside um, Rochester. If any of you, it's so tiny. Why is that thing so little? Can I do anything with that? Oh my goodness, it's so little. Um, if any of you have ever traveled, driven down south and go down Route 15, you can see a whole series of these in the hills, and it's usually off to the east, I think. But they're beautiful. Actually, they haven't made them where they um, stand out in any big way. They're really pretty when you see a whole bunch of them um, all going together. And so let's take a look at our reading about wind energy. And this is from Science, CK Science. And so there's a good picture of the windmills right there. That's quite a few of them, though. That looks pretty dry. I don't know if I can't read the tags either. I'm not really sure where those are. But that is a wind farm, Southern California. And I started to say that because it's so dry. And they're sprouting up from the ground to pack on windmills. And they're becoming more common on the eastern side of the mountains. That's what I was telling you. When I see them, they're on the eastern side of the hills. And that is because the wind comes through the Pacific Ocean, comes across the ocean. I don't know why this does this now. And funnels through the mountains, and it gets stronger that way. They have winds called Santa Ana winds, which are hot and dry. They're not cooling, so they have strong winds, and they want to take advantage. That's free energy, right? So the energy from the sun creates wind, and wind energy moves by convection. Remember, from heating and rising. The sun heats some locations more than others. Warm air rises, so other air rushes in to fill the hole left by the rising air. And the horizontal movement of air, or moving across rather than up and down, is called wind. So wind is a resource. Wind power uses moving air as a source of energy, and some types of wind power have been around for a long time, hundreds of years, and people use windmills to grind grain, to pump water. Sailors have depended on wind for millennia. Wind is now used to generate electricity. Moving air can make a turbine spin, just like moving water can. Moving air has kinetic energy, energy in motion. When wind hits the blades of the turbine, the kinetic energy makes the blades move, the turbines spin, and create electricity. So, advantages and disadvantages of wind power. Wind power is clean. It doesn't release pollutants or carbon dioxide. It's plentiful almost everywhere. And the technology to harness wind and energy is being developed rapidly, particularly as we want to move away from fossil fuels, gas, natural gas, and oil and coal. Wind power also has its problems. Wind doesn't blow all the time, right? So wind energy must be stored for later use. Alternatively, another energy source needs to be available when the wind is not blowing. Wind turbines are expensive, they can wear out quickly, and finally, windmills are not welcomed by residents of some locations, and they say they're ugly. Yet, even with these problems, wind turbines are a competitive form of renewable energy. Remember, we talked about renewables and non renewables? Well, we have an infinite supply of wind. We're never going to run out of wind. Many states are currently using wind power, and wind turbines are set up in mountain passes, and that's common in California, where the cool Pacific air is sucked across the passes and into the warmer inland valleys. And so, in summary, wind contains kinetic energy. This energy can move a turbine, and that generates electricity. Wind power is clean. It does not release pollutants or greenhouse gases. Some people complain about the spread of windmills across certain locations, but the use of wind energy is increasing. So these review questions are for you. Describe how wind energy can be harnessed. What are the upsides of wind power? What are the downsides of wind power? And why is wind power increasing? So these 4 review questions are the ones for you to answer based on the article, and that is all. So we've talked about different types of energy and the costs and benefits, and I think we have one more, which is nuclear energy. And those are the items you may see on your test. Basically, just having an overall view of what they are, where they're from, if they're renewable, non-renewable, advantages and disadvantages. And that's all. So that's all for today. I won't be here tomorrow, but you will still have a reading lesson. And I will see you back on Monday. Everyone be blessed. Take care.